Welcome to the WrestleTalk News, I'm Pete Quinnell. Our top story today is not a fun one, as an AEW producer has been arrested and fired from the company. BJ Whitmer is also a former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, and according to Fightful was reportedly arrested on June 4th by the Boone County Sheriff's Department in Kentucky for charges of first-degree strangulation and second-degree burglary. Whitmer had a bond of $25,000 and was released from incarceration on June 12th. Following his arrest and subsequent release, AEW released the following statement. BJ Whitmer has been terminated following his arrest on domestic violence charges. While talent and staff are ultimately responsible for their own personal actions, this behavior is intolerable within AEW. AEW has reached out to offer support to those impacted by his behavior. Whitmer had been working in AEW since 2019. And now we have to transition into regular wrestling news, which is never easy, unless I just address it directly, which is why I'm saying these words now. Isn't wrestling silly? Let's talk about Vince McMahon. If you've been watching Raw lately, you'd have noticed that Maxine Dupree has joined allegiances with Alpha Academy, leaving the Maximum Male models to not appear on the shows at all, which seems like an odd choice based on how the storyline had been set up to that point, but there's more to it now, as Fightful Select have a report. Mace and Mansoor, or Marseille and Mansoir, depending on how you're feeling, are reportedly set to be repackaged soon, though the details of what they're being repackaged to remains unclear. While that news in and of itself isn't hugely groundbreaking, people get repackaged a lot, the circumstances that led to the repackaging are interesting. Those within WWE Creative reportedly noted that Vince McMahon was originally high on the Maximum Male models, but didn't want them to be flamboyant. Isn't that like literally the whole gimmick though? It gets more interesting, as that was reportedly ignored by Triple H, who encouraged them to be flamboyant more. But since Vince McMahon's return to the company, their flamboyancy, is that a word, has been scaled back significantly. I wonder why that could be. Which to me seems like Triple H likes them and wants to use them. Vince said, "That doesn't work for me, brother," and canned the act and made the repackaging happen. I wonder, who's in control of creative again? Triple H definitely has the final say, right? I'm sure he does. Quickly, before we go to Luke, there's two more big things I need to talk about. Lightning speed! WWE reportedly wants Drew McIntyre back and wrestling for them by Money in the Bank, which would be nice as it's a UK crowd. This comes from PW Insider Elite, who also noted, however, that there's been no update on McIntyre signing a new deal with the company. The current reported belief is that until McIntyre is satisfied with what he's going to be doing once he's back, he won't be coming back at all, considering he's proven through the pandemic what an asset he can be to the company, not just from an in-ring perspective, but also as an ambassador for the company. And lastly, before Luke time, Disney might be buying the streaming rights to WWE. This comes from Andrew Marchand of the New York Post, who said he believes that Fox and USA Network are still the most likely contenders to retain the WWE broadcasting rights, but that Disney is also very interested in acquiring them, which means the Disney-owned ESPN or FX are likely homes for WWE if they do end up getting the rights. There's tons more about this and all the other stories I spoke about today on WrestleTalk.com, so go check that out for more. But now it's time for Luke.
But before we get into the Raw review, we've been alerted about another potential Match of the Year candidate. Apparently, and here with a report is Lucha expert and winner of Telford's Most Charming Man 2006. It's Mark Markson. Mark, hello again.
Thank you, Luke. It's tolerable to be here.
I believe this match went down in Las Vegas.
Yes, it did indeed.
A gambling man?
Yes, I am, and I bet £100 that everybody would be so focused on their mainstream shows that they'd miss out on the good wrestling. And I tripled my money. Because this week's Match of the Year came from the GCW Lifestyle Show, and it was a triple threat match between El Hijo del Vikingo, Gringo Loco, and Commander. The live crowd were ready for this match, and the action was hot right out of the gate with the classic lucha-style reversals highlighting the speed and agility of the three men. Now, Lucha Libre, of course, translates to loose action, and it demands a high-risk style of wrestling, and not every risk paid off. But each man was able to regain his footing and thus regain control of their intended spot. One of the most iconic spots of the weekend saw the three men create a tower sitting on each other's shoulders, only for Gringo to spin them round and powerbomb them both into the mat. Soon after, he went under the ring to find a wooden door, which he set up in the corner. He failed to capitalize on that, however, and ultimately it was Vikingo who sent Commander crashing through it with a Death Valley driver. Now that's the real Forbidden Door. Vikingo then rode his momentum back up to the top rope and hit a vicious 630 bomb on Loco for the 1, the 2, and the 3. It wasn't flawless, but it was outstanding.
Not flawless.
But still outstanding.
You're supposed to bring us the potential match of the year candidates, and you've been telling us now for weeks that you know what good wrestling is. So, and your reputation for bringing us the best wrestling is on the line here.
I do know.
So you think that this match was this match better than your 7-star match from last week?
Yes.
Because if it wasn't better than that, then that means you haven't brought us a potential match of the year candidate. And then really, when you think about it, what's the point of you?
Last week's was 7 stars. This week's was 7.5.
Not 8?
Nope.
Okay.
Not flawless.
7.5.
But outstanding.
7.5
stars.
7.5
Write it down. Write it down on your paper.
They're blank. There's nothing written on them.
Well, maybe you should start, and you'd remember.
7.5 stars, eh? Well, I'm sure there'll be more from Mark next week. Now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka sorry, I can't hear Balor's promo over the crowd singing Seth Rollins' theme song over. Sorry, Finn, what was that? Edition of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. The show opened with WWE tying up the last bits of women's title confusion by awarding Rhea Ripley with the new Women's World Championship, which, as you would expect, was a Control-C, Control-V of Seth's belt but with a white strap. Yeah, it's a lazy design. Yeah, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but at least we can stop making fun of the SmackDown Women's Championship being defended on Raw and all that jazz. My bigger problem is that while Asuka got a new mustard-drenched belt and a new challenger in Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley is getting nothing. She hasn't had a credible challenger since she won the belt, and it's not like Raw is lacking in women who could be built as credible challengers. Since winning that belt at Mania, she squashed Selena Vega and squashed Natalya and has then just been a second to Dominic Mysterio, and that is what she did here, because Dom and Cody Rhodes were instead the focus of this segment to build to their match at Money in the Bank and set up Cody Rhodes beating The Miz in a decent little TV match. Cody later cut a really good promo backstage to hype up that pay-per-view match with Dom. The whole point of the white strap version of the Women's World title, at least according to Fightful Select, is that it looks like it's the same level of quality as the men's belt. This was the same mindset that led them to the last redesigns of the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship, but surely it's the booking that does this. It could be a plate of chickpeas, but if you present that plate of chickpeas as a price that everyone wants to win, it then feels like it's on par with the main title on the show. And now, I really want a plate of chickpeas. Becky Lynch beat Chelsea Green in a match that sadly mostly took place during the commercial break. Before the match, she had a war of words with Zoe Stark, who got the what treatment, but was a decent continuation of their story. Lynch ragdolling Green into the barricade was a lot of fun. Damian Priest became the final man to qualify for Money in the Bank by beating Matt Riddle in a really good match that was given loads of time to get over. After the match, Gunther and Kaiser came out to get revenge for Giovanni Vinci by beating up Matt. Byron Saxton interviewed Natalya backstage, who said that she needed to change who she was in order to succeed because being herself has only brought her failure. And Byron basically went, never mind that here comes Kevin and Sammy. They set up a tag title match with Imperium for the main event. They played the whole Bloodline segment from Friday because, you know, it's the best story in WWE right now, and Jinder Mahal cut a promo for Indus Sher against Not the Hurt Business. Then came what might be my new favorite thing on Raw. Well, my second favorite thing on Raw, but we'll get to that in a bit. Last week, Bronson Reed caused a DQ in a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Ricochet, so this week it was Rick's time for revenge as he battled the much bigger Reed with Nakamura at the commentary desk. The action was great David versus Goliath stuff, and then Reed tossed Ricochet into Nakamura, who ran in to cause another DQ. Reed brawled with Nakamura and set him up for the tsunami, but Rick stopped him and they hit a double superplex. Later, Rick asked Adam Pearce to book a rematch for next week, but was turned down because Nakamura got the match first. Ricochet told Nakamura that this was his fight and he shouldn't be getting in his business, but Nakamura thinks that this is his business, and Ricochet can just deal with what's left of Bronson Reed once he's done with him. It's a really fun three-way feud, and I am really looking forward to seeing that eventual triple threat. Finn Balor came out to challenge Seth Rollins for a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank, but could not really get his point across as the fans hijacked the segment by constantly singing Seth Rollins' theme song, and I do mean constantly. It actually made the segment drag somewhat as Balor was waiting for them to stop so he could talk about how Rollins took everything from him when he injured him 7 years ago at SummerSlam, but none of it really landed because the crowd didn't care. They just wanted to sing, and that's fine. That's completely their prerogative. I'm not going to tell the crowd what to do, but I do think it's a shame that Balor didn't get his promo, and this was supposed to be that promo. Either way, the match was made official later for the pay-per-view. Shayna Baszler quickly beat Raquel Rodriguez with the help of Ronda Rousey, and this had a shocking lack of heat. But then came my favorite thing on Raw. Chad Gable, complete with Otis and Maxine in her Alpha Academy gear, took on Eric of the Viking Raiders. Earlier in the show, we saw Chad was training Maxine, and in this match, he hit an arm drag and looked at her and said, "This is what I'm talking about." Valhalla then went to attack Maxine at ringside, and she hit an arm drag just like Chad. Gable then picked up the win with a technical roll-up, and the good guys got one over on the baddies again. I love this so much. Put all of the belts on this team right now. There was some uneasiness between Finn Balor and Damian Priest following last week, and Balor offered JD McDonough some advice about friendships and wrestling, advice that maybe he needs to follow himself. And the main event saw Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn retain their tag titles against Imperium in an excellent match. Matt Riddle brawled with Gunther, leading to Zayn hitting the Blue Thunder Bomb on Kaiser for the win. Now, I've seen a few people who are a bit down on this episode of Raw, but I actually quite enjoyed it. Maybe I'm just really into the three-way mid-card stuff and all of the Alpha Academy bits and bobs, and I get that Cody and Dom could be seen as a waste of time for the guy that's feuding with Brock Lesnar, and Rhea's title is a lazy Control-C, Control-V, but I'm all for Cody versus Dom in London with that British crowd. Will concede on the Rhea point though. Still, I give this episode 4 out of 5. Now, if you don't mind, it is pretty warm in London today, so I'm gonna have an iced vanilla latte with soy milk. Make fun of me, comments all you want.